So this is the eve of our yoga challenge for Cancer Research UK. And together we will beat cancer. So I'm not well at all. So this is a yoga session for when you really don't feel up to doing most yoga, but you want to do something to help yourself feel a little bit better. And also to show you how to be compassionate to yourself. So I'm in my pyjamas. I've had COVID for forever, and I tested negative 2 days ago, 1 day ago. So I'm in the really wiped out phase. And I've really missed my yoga mat. So let's just do some work together, just sitting here for a moment. Let's come into the present moment. So you've got choices. You can sit or you can lie down. If you are lying down, I would choose Shavasana. It's nice and relaxing, with the arms out at the hips, palms upwards, and moving the shoulders down. And the legs, the feet about 2 to 3 feet apart. Or if you're comfortable sitting, as I am, do that too. Remember, there's no special thing about sitting cross-legged or in lotus position. It's always been very comfortable for me. So it's not, oh, I've got to do it to be a proper yoga person. If you feel comfortable sitting on a chair or on your sofa, please do that. The only thing that is important is to have a straight spine, upright spine. So however you are sitting, please don't slump. You want the central channel, which in yoga is the Sushumna, to be nice and open and unblocked, no kinks. So far, so good. So let's start. Let's just check in with how we are. So here we are at the end of 2022. Oh, what a year it has been. And let's see how we are mentally, what sort of thoughts are going through the mind. And whatever we find there, being very compassionate and kind to whatever we're thinking. If we push it away, it'll only get stuck somewhere and start exploding somewhere else. If we indulge it, it'll go for forever, probably. But if we're just aware of it and skillfully notice, maybe that needs some more attention after this session, or maybe it's something that I just mither on about. I think that's a northern word, round and round. Maybe I don't need to think it so much. But skillfully knowing when to let go and when to go with something. Or whatever we do, we don't go, oh, for heaven's sake, Sarah, imagine thinking that all the time. So very, very, very gentle to ourselves. And then let's check in how we're doing emotionally. What's going on in there? No judgment. No criticism. There's no should in how we ought to be feeling. And what we're feeling is what we're feeling. And it's always there for a reason. Unfortunately, we might not always know the reason we're feeling that way, but there's always a reason. So again, real kindness to ourselves in this moment. And then moving physically, how are we feeling physically in this moment? And responding if need be. So if your knee's hurting, if your back's hurting from lying on the floor, adjust. To be honest, my body's saying, can we just lie down, please? So I'm going to lie down for a moment. Comfortable side fetal position. There we go. So responding to how we feel physically, not overriding it. It might be the first yoga session I've taught ever. Lying down because I don't feel well. Oh, but it's nice. And then just thinking as we check around the body, what about those old aches and pains? Are they still there? Do they need more loving attention and kindness this coming year? And are we going to gently and tenderly encourage our physical body to be a little bit more active and a little bit more in balance? With utmost kindness, of course. Mm-hmm. So that's checking in physically with no judgment. And then let's be aware of the breath. So the body's being breathed. Breathing in, breathing out. And just notice the body being breathed. And it's lovely to do this lying down. I'm frightened if I lie down on my back, I'll start coughing again. But if you're in Shavasana or even the back hurts, bend the knees. And just comfortably being aware of this amazing miracle of the body being breathed. It just keeps being breathed. And you might notice you're aware of it being breathed from like a second or one breath or 3 breaths, and then the mind, which likes to be occupied and entertained, wanders off again. So don't beat yourself up about that, because that's completely and utterly normal. And the breath, being aware of the breath, I'll let you into a secret that's from years and years and decades of meditation training. Being aware of the breath is simply an assistance, a tool to help us gently rest in the present moment, because we can't be aware of the breath 3 breaths ago because it's finished, and we can't be aware of the breath 3 breaths in the future because it hasn't happened yet. But we can be aware of this breath and this out breath, and this in breath, that little pause, and the out breath and the pause, and the in breath again. Maybe make it deeper. Nice. Pause, breathe out nice and long and slow. Pause at the end and breathe in again. Using our lungs, actually, that feels really good. And one of the things that happens with the vagal system, is that slow, deep breathing calms the system down. It sends signals to the amygdala to quieten down, to be soothed. So it's a very good yoga practice to do slow, deep breaths. But if you don't like doing breathing work, skip that bit. Okay. So when we've done the awareness of the breath for a while, we then come to being aware of how we're feeling with the breath in this body, with the emotions and the mind, on this mat, in this room, on what happens to be New Year's Eve 2022, going into 2023. So this is how we are. And let's do a little bit of gentle yoga movement to encourage positive, clear energy into the new year. Nothing dramatic, okay? So if you'd like to copy me, I'm just reclining in what I call the Cleopatra pose, mainly because I'm ill. And I'm going to straighten one leg and take it up. That's all I'm going to do. And down. And I'll bring this hand forward to help support. And down. Okay. There we go. Lovely. So this is very simple. And then when we get to the top, I just like you to do some bouncing. Just that. You'll feel it working in here, also working into that hip joint. But we're not doing anything too dramatic. And you can comment if you like about my pajamas. I have never taught a yoga class in my pajamas. Hey, but this is for a good cause. And then if you like, if I back off a little, you'll see my ankle. When you're up there, I'd like you to do some ankle rotations. See, like that? Nice. And then the other way. Lovely. Straightening up through the spine. Lovely. Okay, and then some treadling, which is as though you're pushing down, treadle on the sewing machine, and then higher again, a little bit bouncing there, lower, and a little bit of bouncing there. Lovely, and release. That wasn't so bad, was it? Breathe in and breathe out. And then I'd like you to hold your big toe if you can. If you can't, hold on to your yoga trousers or pajamas and simply see if you can lift the leg up. Now, you might think, oh my goodness, I can't make it straight and I can't hold on to my toe. And my yoga is not about being competitive. Thank God we don't have to strive and struggle in that way in yoga. So you can hold on behind the thigh and just lift comfortably. And we're doing some work here in the groin, adductors, around the hip joint. Okay. And just gently trying it out. I might be being a little bit too ambitious there when I'm not well. Going down a bit, bend a bit, even soften the knee a bit. Can do some more rotations with that ankle joint if you like. And the other way. Lovely. Then bend the knee and hold on to the foot. Okay. Holding that and breathing. Lovely, and release. And then one of the things you'll find throughout any yoga session is we need to do the other side. And that means I've got to turn round. So let's do that. Cushion with me for comfort. And there we go. Back into Cleopatra pose. Nice. Okay. And then lift that leg. Do some ankle rotations. Well, ankles, you know, we work them so hard, but we hardly ever lubricate that joint. Why do we do rotations and things like this? It's because it sends a signal into the brain to lubricate that joint some more, send in some synovial fluid and lubricate it some more. The body, the brain, it's very, what's the word? It doesn't use and do something if it's not needed. So if you're not actually rotating your ankle joint, it doesn't send out lubricating fluid and it gets stiffer. It's not going to waste lubricating fluid if you don't need it. Okay, and then can you just bounce up there a little, working in here to this joint in here, and then down a little and bounce. You're actually working along the outside of the thigh there, and you can again treadle, like so. Okay, treadle, bounce, bounce, bounce. And then see if you can reach through to the toe, straighten up. If that's too difficult, hold on behind the calf, behind the thigh. Okay, so simply straightening up. And if that feels too much, again, remember, soften the knee. We're simply working the back of the leg and into that hip joint where the femur, the bone in the thigh, slots into the socket of the hip. Okay. Lovely. Breathing into it. And I think, oh, she's making it look easy. I think it's because I've got very short legs. And then bend that knee, okay. Pulling up, rotate the ankle a bit more. Lovely. And then release down. You do a little few more balances there. And then I'd like you to actually rotate your hip joint. So big circular movements into the hip joint, like so. And then the other way. How does that feel? Really strong signal to the brain. Please, please, please lubricate the hip joint. Okay, lovely. And then, of course, we need to do the opposite leg. There we go. Nice rotations. The thing I like about yoga is if you're not feeling particularly well or don't have a lot of energy, you can do a little bit of work gently and it will rejuvenate you. Okay, lovely. When you've done those rotations, then just pause for a minute, make yourself comfy. Pause with the knees bent in what we call corpse position, but I've got my knees bent just because being extra gentle to myself today. Okay, nice. And then I'd like you to bring your right knee up to the chest. Okay, so pressing against your right hand side of your abdominal area, like so. And that's the ascending colon. You can do some more ankle rotations if you like, as you hold that pressure. And then take the left knee up to join it. So this is the descending colon on the left side of the belly. Pressure up there. I'm going to do it a bit tighter, okay? So one of the good things about you doing this at home and not in the classes, this is the Americans call it a gas ejector. So the pressure on the belly will actually release wind. Yeah. And I hope I don't demonstrate. But I might. Okay, and then straighten both legs upwards. Again, soften the knees if that's too much. But see if you can just allow the legs to rest. And, you know, when we say I'm going home to put my feet up, this is literally putting your feet up. And when we do this leaning against a wall, it's called Viparati Karani. It's one of the deep restorative poses in yoga. And it's recommended, for example, if you've been on a long journey and you're coming home and you're just shattered, feet up the wall, so the wall's here, okay? You could even put a block, a cushion, a pillow underneath your pelvis for a bit more of a lift. Rest your hands comfortably wherever you want them to be and stay there for 5-10 minutes and let your whole system be restored. That's not difficult, is it? No. So just breathing into that. At this point, if you've got more time, you could stop the video and actually pause in this pose for longer, especially if you feel, actually, I need more restoring. I think we're going to have to do lots of restoring work through January. Anyway, if you want to keep going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach through and grab the insides of my feet. Such an elegant pose, this. I call it the stuffed turkey. And the knees go into the armpits. Shin goes towards the chest. The soles of the feet are parallel to the ceiling, if the ceiling is parallel to the floor. Okay, and you're just gently opening the knees out wider. So you'll feel that groin and inner thighs. Relaxing the shoulders because they tend to want to overwork. And pushing the knees down into the armpits. Again, unsurprisingly, this is a gas ejector pose. It is massaging into the digestive area and the ascending and descending colon. So I suppose it's helpful to tell you where I find poses difficult. This one, my shoulders want to get tense. I have to consciously melt my shoulders once I'm in the pose. And let the pose work on me. Okay? So rather than struggling into it and fighting into it, which wouldn't be yoga, it would be some kind of strange exercise position. We actually go into the pose and then we relax and let the pose work on us, a bit like lying on an acupuncture table and letting the needles change the energy in the body. We sort of get out of the way. Just breathe, be present moment awareness if we can do it. Okay, and then straighten up a little again. Soft knees if you need to. Now, if you've got lower back problems, don't go too far. But for those who know their lower backs are fairly okay, You could just try encouraging the legs a little bit over the head. But you might not want to do that. You might want to stay here, or you can, even if you've got a sofa here, you could rest the lower legs on the sofa, comfortably going into a restorative pose. And personally, I'm very, very keen on doing yoga slowly and gently, because that way we don't dissipate the benefits of one pose by dashing into the next pose too suddenly, unless we're doing yoga flows, which is something we'll do later on. So now I'm doing what's called the windscreen wipers. So I've got my knees bent and I'm going down to each side. And if you like, you can move the head and look the opposite way. So this could be done very easily in bed, couldn't it? It's not difficult. And it's one of my favorites. It really helps work this middle area energetically, digestive area. And if you like, you can stop down on one side, looking the opposite way, breathing into it, letting the shoulders relax. And then stay as long as you like there. But if you want to move on, breathe in, coming up, and breathe out, go the opposite way. I must say, as I look this way and see the screen, this is not my most beautiful and dignified and smart looking yoga apparel, my pajamas. I'm hoping it will encourage you to do yoga in your pajamas and do yoga when you don't feel quite like doing something too strenuous. Okay, breathing in, coming up. Okay, and I just want you to rock a little now with the knees up to the chest from side to side. Okay, lovely. Massaging the back a little. And then we're going to roll over to one side and push and come up. And I just feel a little bit dizzy, so I'm pausing there. Breathe, breathe in, breathe out. That's a sign I needn't do too much, so I'm aware of time as well. We don't want this to go over our average of about 30 minutes. I'm going to kneel on my mat. Now, some people just can't kneel. Their knees are not up to it. So the good news is, if you can't kneel sitting down, you can put lots and lots of blocks or a little stool here. Or you can forget the kneeling bit and go into what I call upright kneeling. And if that's too much, you use pads and cushions under your knees, because as you can see, I've got a rug underneath my knees. And all I want us to do is to stretch up, because I'd like the lungs to be more open. And shoulders down, shoulder blades coming together, palms facing each other up there. Okay, and just widening out the knees a bit more. Adapt, you know. The best yoga is the yoga of you listening to your body. And then I want to go forward, but I don't want to collapse my abdominal area with all those really important internal organs in. So bringing the hands down, but keeping the ribs well away from the pelvis. I'm going to gently, gently, gently come into this pose of safety and security. Here we go. And you can walk the fingers further along your mat or your carpet. And then just relax into it, okay? So this pose is for really feeling safe and secure. Long stretch for the spine. Tailbone coming down to the heels. Sorry, you probably can't hear me because I'm talking into my cardigan. Okay. And then sliding the hands back to either side of the feet, down here, palms upwards, go into child pose. You can bring the knees a little bit closer together if you want. And again, pose of safety, security, reassurance, calming, soothing. All the forward bends are calming and soothing. the back bends are energizing, opening, uplifting. Nice. Okay. And then bring the hands to either side of the head, and we're going to push to come up like so. And you can either sit in the kneeling pose where the hands are just resting on the thighs, or if that's not good for you, you can protect the knees on a cushion and go into upright kneeling. Drop the shoulders, bring the shoulder blades together. Drop the hands as though they're really heavy. And that's the maximum I'm doing today. So I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because I don't look like a yoga teacher. I don't look brimming with health, but that's not the point. I'm trying to show you that you don't have to be absolutely on par to do a little bit of gentle yoga. So let's just breathe in together and breathe out to the heart. This is Eve of 2023. Breathing in, let me receive what this new year will bring that is positive and healing and opening and calming and fulfilling. Take the hands and point them outwards as you breathe out. May I direct my energy positively out into the world in this coming year. Breathing in, opening the heart right across the heart center. May I be able to receive the love and the care and the tenderness that exists for me in this world, and then sending it out to all beings, including myself. May we all feel cared for and loved. And then let's seal that by bringing the hands up above the head, and then breathe out down to the heart. Thank you.